Hey everyone, welcome back to the Movie Fanatics. I'm Brayden, and today I'm going to be doing my third and final review in the Evil Dead Trilogy, and that is, of course, Army of Darkness. But a couple things before we get started. The first thing is I didn't mention what year Evil Dead 2 came out in my last review, and that was 1987, and Army of Darkness came out in 1992. So I just want to clear that up. And also, there will be spoilers. You've been warned. Let's talk about Army of Darkness. Now, Army of Darkness, again, like the previous two, if you want a certain type of movie, there's only one movie that's going to give that to you. And if you want like an action, comedy, fantasy, horror, over the top movie, you're going to want Army of Darkness. Like, that's just it. Like, Army of Darkness is hilarious. It's fun. And of course, let me tell you guys the plot if you guys don't know what the plot of Army of Darkness is. So, after the previous film, Evil Dead 2, ended with Ash being transported back into the Middle Ages and everyone cheering him on as the fallen person who has come from the sky, who's going to deliver them from the terrors of the Deadites. That's what they call those creatures. Well, Sam Raimi takes this movie and turns that on its head, and instead of them praising Ash, they're going to imprison Ash and throw him into the pit. But he eventually explains to people, and that they tell Ash that he needs the Book of the Dead, and to bring the book to this priest, and then he can get him back to his actual time, which is basically present day. Well, Ash screws up, of course. He flubs the words that he needs to say before he takes the book, and some stuff happens, and the army of the dead basically comes to this one castle, and they have to all fend them off. And this movie is just a blast from start to finish. It's funny. Every time I watch this movie, I laugh hysterically. It's just so funny. I love the stop motion with all the skeletons. I think it's really cool. It's a really interesting idea. And Sam Raimi, wow, of course, came back as director. Bruce Campbell's again as Ash, once again hamming it up, making it really funny, doing all the physical comedy. And some people say that the physical comedy and stuff gets too much in this movie. I don't think it's too much. I think it's hilarious. That whole sequence in like that wheel thing, the whatever that thing's called. I'm blanking out on what those big, I guess it's called a pinwheel or whatever. Those big wheel things. I don't know, but he's in like the house, like that's attached to it, and there's all these like small ashes like were running around, and they're like tripping him and stuff, and it's just really it's funny. It's stupid, but one of the things that Army of Darkness accomplishes is going for the fantasy aspect, where he's transported into the Middle Ages, but there's all this fantasy. That this movie's action packed. It's hilarious. I think it's. I don't want to say it's the weakest of the trilogy, because I don't think there is a weak movie in this trilogy, and I'm going to keep calling it a trilogy. Stay tuned to the end to figure out why I keep calling it a trilogy. Um, it's the one that's like it it's not on par with the second one, but I think it's a little bit more rewatchable than the first one. I think I love the first Evil Dead, but Army of Darkness has that rewatchability to it, where like Evil Dead, the original, is a movie that you have to be in like that right mood. Army of Darkness, I love how it mixes a lot of genres I like, so I think I can just watch it a lot more. But either way, our Army of Darkness is a fantastic ride. It's a really fun movie. Just like the previous two, I think it's awesome. It's the certain type of movie, if you want that certain type of movie, that action, fantasy, horror, comedy. And this is the one that's like the least bloody, the least violent. It has a rated R rating, but I think they had to cut a lot of the gore out because the MPAA was not happy with Sam Raimi for the previous two. So he had to cut a lot of stuff out. There's like one volcano of blood that's not that good anyway, but I like how it changed it up. It went more for the action fantasy rather than the comedy, rather than the horror. But the comedy's still intact. This movie, I think it's the fantasy and the comedy that drives this movie forward. I think it's great. Army of Darkness is awesome. It's a fantastic ride. It's a fantastic film. It's one of those just turn your brain off, insanely fun movies. And of course, like the previous two, Army of Darkness gets an A plus. Now, I want to explain to you guys why I'm not going to be reviewing the Evil Dead remake, and why that is not the fourth review in the series. I will get to the fourth secret video when I get to it. But, the Evil Dead Remake, I haven't watched it, and part of the reason why I don't want to watch it is, like, the Evil Dead Trilogy, all three of those movies are fun and zany. The Evil Dead Remake just looks like it just takes itself too seriously. From all the scenes and clips and little pieces I've watched, it looks like it just takes itself too seriously. And with an Evil Dead movie, I don't want it to take itself seriously. You want a certain type of movie that's just fun and over the top and funny. This movie doesn't even look funny. Like, it just looks like this really dark, graphic, disturbing Evil Dead movie, which I guess it was made in like the mid to late 2000s or like 2013 or whatever. I just don't want to watch it. That's it. Um, I think people like it. Like, if you like the Evil Dead Remake, I'm completely fine with you liking it. Like, from what I've seen of it, it just seems like it takes itself seriously. With the previous three, it doesn't take it. They don't take themselves seriously. Like, even in the first one, it's probably the most serious. It still has that fun, wacky sensibility about it. That's just my opinion. I'm not gonna watch it. I'll probably watch it in like 10 years or whatever. But in terms of now, I just call it a trilogy because the remake, there was no need to be a remake, and if you like it, that's fine. I think it looks too serious, and it's just, there's way too much gore in that movie. Like, I've seen, like, every scene is just gory. It's like, no, there has to be some fun and some funny about it, but it doesn't look like it has that. It's not a movie for me. I just don't like that type of movie. But yeah, that's my view on it. I've never seen the full movie, but I have seen parts of it. But yeah, that's my opinion on the Evil Dead remake, if you guys were wondering. Now, the fourth secret video that I'm going to be doing or filming in advance, because as you guys saw in the vlog a couple weeks ago, I'm going to be going on vacation. So the fourth review, drum roll please, is, where is it? Is Deep Rising. That movie right there. That's going to be the fourth review, Deep Rising. Hope you guys are excited about that. I am. I love that movie. But that's it, guys. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and write comments below about your thoughts on Army of Darkness and maybe your anticipated thoughts on my thoughts, or anticipated my thoughts, or whatever. Wow. Write down below what you think my thoughts are. There we go. On Deep Rising. And I will see you next time. This has been Brayden from the Movie Fanatics, signing off.